I mean, you had success with a Hall of Fame quarterback. You was getting to, close to the NFC Championship or failing in the NFC Championship every single year. But now that's regressed. So now I think some questions are going to, start coming Matt LaFleur's way.
Look, man, my question to you guys is this. Is it Gutekunst or is it Matt LaFleur? Who's it more on?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I'm hearing that
that's
some
a good
people
question.
out there believe it's the GM's fault, that he doesn't have enough. But I'm sorry, you go out there and you talk about the quarterback who's going to get the bag, and you're telling me that's not enough already?
I mean, they got a good team.
I mean, the GM's the one who gave him the bag.
What up, though?
I'm just saying the GM's the one who gave the quarterback the bag. If you're trying to critique him some more,
true, but they did it. They did it the proper way. You draft a quarterback, you stash him. They did something that we don't even see in this NFL anymore.
Did they give it too soon though?
And what I don't think it's too soon. I mean, you had him under development 3 or 4 years. Aaron Rodgers leaves town. He looks like he's the guy for a year, but we need to see consistency.
My man got passed up by Sam Darnold. The
Yeah,
first year of that contract, he got passed up by Sam Darnold.
That's crazy. But Sam Darnold, somebody has been around with actual playing experience, good, bad, or indifferent.
That's true. Hey, Dante151 super chat. That's
super
a
chat.
big one.
Hey,
Can you read
big
that,
one.
JB's move?
Give me 1 second. I got to switch up something, but yeah, I got you.
JB in there working hard, man. Working hard.
I know, I'm trying to cook up some stuff over here. Shout out to Dante151 for the super chat, sending in $19.99. If the Vikings beat the Rams, can we say that Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams have a problem against the NFC North teams in the playoffs? Also, hey, Packers fans, hold that L. You are trash. Love to see big play Slate with the pick. Shout out to Dante151 for that
pick, dog.
Yeah.
That interception was like I was like, wait, who's the wide receiver?
I swear, he put it right on the money for Darius Slay. Right in the bread basket for the cornerback.
Anything else specifically about that game before we get Justin in on this Commanders one as well?
No, I mean, the Eagles did what they were supposed to do. Now, I'm interested to see how the Eagles are going to look going forward because I said that the talent would get them as far as they can go. But there's two things you got to worry about with the Eagles, and that's the coach and that's the quarterback, man. So going forward, let's see what it looked like. But they did what they were supposed to do.
Hey, that dude, Justin, the matchup obviously now we know because the Commanders won, and that basically slotted in who we're going to play. It is the Washington Commanders, the Detroit Lions, and everybody's mind instantly, man. This is so crazy because you're on socials. You saw the comments. People are already talking about, yeah, I think we're going to handle them, but man, a mobile quarterback makes me a little worried. Mm-hmm. Man, we can't take them lightly.
Haven't heard that one before.
How are people getting tight right now? I get trying to respect your opponent, but the Lions are the Lions. Talk to me, though, man. The Commanders, they did handle business. They beat the Buccaneers, a team that did beat the Lions this season.
I mean, you know me. I'm as big of a Jaden Daniels fan as anyone at this network. Shout out him in my fantasy run, but I don't see the pathway for the Commanders to win. Their defense is not even remotely good enough to stop this Lions offense. Even if this game becomes a shootout, I trust our offense to get it done against Jaden Daniels. He's a rookie quarterback coming into a hostile environment. The Buccaneers game didn't really look like a hostile environment. It's going to be completely different in Detroit. The dead is going to be firing. It is going to be loud. It's going to be dark. It's a night game. I don't think that they're going to stand much of a chance. I think that it's going to be maybe a 10-point blowout. I think it's going to be a lot similar to what you saw this wild card weekend with a lot of blowouts.
Ooh, man, you know what? I feel that too. I just
you can
do.
see it. Yeah.
I think that we're going to see it because obviously my offensive rookie of the year pick in the preseason was Jaden Daniels. I believe that he was going to make an effect, and it was that overall team. And you could see it much like the Texans last year. You could see it. They're taking the next step forward. But they haven't taken the leap. That's the problem that I think is going to get a lot of people in trouble here. The Detroit Lions are a squad that's shown they can weather this adversity. Yeah. And this year, more than any other, they've shown that they can deal with a mobile quarterback. The problem with the Josh Allen, if you're going to say, well, look what Josh Allen did. Josh Allen was effectively like perfecto. Those passes are not the passes that other quarterbacks make. And if you mess up around these secondaries at all, around the Lions secondary, that could be 6 on your head. So, to me personally, with the pressure we saw against the Vikings, with the confidence this defensive line is saying that they have, they said it. Oh, DJ Reader, we're figuring it out now. We know it now. We were just trying to re-gel because there were a new defensive line.
Yeah.
A brand new one. So, and they still got dogs there. Now, how many? I'm sorry, Chase. They still got wolves. They still got wolves there, man. So, shout out to them, man. I know we're gonna get into breaking down that game a little bit more as we get on through the week. But just any other words on the Commanders, how they looking just kind of ahead of this matchup?
No, I mean, they are a team that you cannot take lightly. And this is going to be a game in which the Lions need to come out. They need to start fast because, you get this time off and that's great. But you haven't been out there week to week, like they have. So you don't want them to come in with momentum, and that's something that they have right now. They're a young team. They really don't know no better. But on the other hand, they have not faced a team like this Lions team. Yes, they faced the Eagles, but they beat the Eagles. They have not faced an NFC team like the Lions with as physical as they are and as experienced as they are. They have been there and done that at this point. So I expect the Lions to go in there and do what a number one seed should do.
Yep, I expect that too. That's where we are now with this squad. Neil Rules in the chat. He said, Packers
My
fans,
boy Neil.
Just wait till 11:04 today.
Oh, he finna
I
get his shit
know
off.
he's going in. And you know what? JB Smooth, we're going to have to set up On the Real with Neil this week.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Let's try and set that. If he's in on Thursday, let's try and set that up for Thursday and let him go in. Especially if the Vikings lose tonight. Oh, my word. Burn $5 super chat. The Packers' young mythical talent. And he put young in quotes. I've been hearing about for years now are a bunch of undisciplined schedule merchants.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who knew that the first week, the bye week, was going to be such a win for the Lions? I'm just to complete this. All I need now is just for the Vikings to go out there and just get punished.
No, we just being validated for what we thought during the regular season. And, the Vikings still up for trial right now. They got to beat the allegations. But the Packers, this is a team that, they were good, but they were third place in the NFC for a reason. We saw them struggle with the Vikings. We saw them struggle with the Bears. And they didn't have nothing for the Lions. So That's just the NFC North, man. Yes, they did play good against weaker teams, but this is kind of what we knew to be true about the Packers at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? I know a lot of people are making a fuss about the Lions' schedule for next year. Like, people are not trying to get ahead of themselves, but the Lions did release it themselves. Like, these are our opponents. This year, they went undefeated on the road. Next year, they're playing teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs on the road. And you know what? I didn't flinch one bit.
Yeah.
Not one
shouldn't.
bit at all. This team is a real team. This team is redefining things, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Don't ask for anything crazy. All right, we got security here at Lady James.
We love our Lady
as well.
James
No
fam.
problem.
We love our Birmingham Rose family, man. It's one big family over here.
You'll get bounced out.
But welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the Woo Crew. There's a lot of you people in here, man, and I'm telling you, it means the world to us. I don't think you guys understand. It was a bye week for the Lions. Usually this is a Lions victory show type numbers, but the people are here. Shout out to you all, man. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. I'm telling you guys, that helps us so much. So much, man. And all it takes is a second to go smash that like button, and the crew is happy. The algorithm is happy.
Yeah, you might as well.
Us out a little bit
you
more.
might as well, man. We working hard in here, man. Help a brother out.
But did you guys see these all-pro teams, first and second team?
Oh, we saw them.
We got to talk about it a little bit. We got to talk about it. I mean, first, JB, do you have the list of the full teams?
Yeah. The all-pro teams from us.
You know what? Let's shout out our all-pros first, and then I'll call out the full team after that.
For sure. Let's check
First
these guys
team all-pro. You talk about Jack Fox. That was a given. Kirby Joseph, who didn't make all-pro, but he already knew. He was like,
what did I tell you? That's the one that matters. I could give a damn about a Pro Bowl.
What was your comment on Wolves and Sheeps?
Oh, yeah, the lion is not concerned with the opinion of the sheep.
Yeah, there we go.
Bars.
There we go. That's the bar right there, and that's what Kirby is. Panay Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I would say a deserving list of Lions right there.
Deserving list of Lions. Let's go to the second team. Because we got two Detroit Lions there.
Yeah.
We got Khalif Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one Frank Ragnow.
Damn right.
And I got to ask you guys just really quickly, when you look at Frank, should he have been somebody that made that first team? There were some fans who thought that he got a little bit underrated or gypped in this.
I mean, I think second team is good. If he hadn't made any all-pro teams, then I would have questions. But the fact that he made second team, I'm okay with that because he's getting recognized for the work that he does. He is arguably the best center in the NFL. He goes out there week in, week out. Injuries, it don't matter, man. He's got the body of a 35-plus-year-old veteran, only less, below 30, and he goes out there and just continues to play, man, on what, 4 toes? I mean, this guy just continues to amaze me the way he goes out there and fights through injuries.
I'm seeing a name pop up here. I see Denver Blair. He's asking about Gibbs. We're going to get there because we have to ask the question about several people. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Brian Branch. I put
That's a
the
big one right
picture
there.
with Kirby Joseph. I was like, yo, got to say what up, though, to the best safety in the league. One, Braylon Edwards, former Michigan football player, greatest probably wide receiver ever there at U of M. And a former NFL player said, that's not Brian Branch. So he believes that Brian Branch has a claim to that with everything that he does, but he's not listed here. And I noticed this as well. The Detroit Lions, after those teams were mentioned, you know whose stats they put out in a nice little graphic?
Who?
One, Jared Goff's.
Ooh.
Who's like first, second, or top 3 in a lot of different stats. So we're going to get there in terms of some of these names that probably should have gotten a little bit more attention than they did. Because Gibbs and Brian Branch, those are some tough ones. I know with the PFF rankings, we'll get there. Kirby Joseph is still number 1, but the rankings behind him did change a little bit in terms of the grading. And I do wonder sometimes how much that type of stuff influences people. But when you see what this Detroit Lions defense has done, I don't understand how a guy like Branch is not getting the consideration for at least a second team. But we'll talk about that. How the first team and the second teams shook out overall, just for the conversation of it all. The first team, quarterback Lamar Jackson, running back Saquon Barkley, fullback Patrick Ricard, tight end Brock Bowers, wide receivers Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a trio right there, man. Tristan Wirfs, left tackle, left guard Joe Thuney, center Creed Humphrey, right guard Quinn Menarez from Denver, right tackle Panay Sewell. Any problems there? No problems there. I mean, the first team is pretty much dope, man. The defense, and I should have sent some of these to you as well. I'll probably send them rather than reading them all out. But Patrick Surtain, Marlon Humphrey, was there anything that stood out on the defensive side? Because with the safeties, you got Kirby Joseph, and then you have Xavier McKinney.
That's what I'm looking at.
Really?
On the first team.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to try and read through it, because how we have the conversation on who's snubbed. So I'll go to the positions that I believe need the attention, because this is the first team defense.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney made it on the first team defense.
No, this is the one that I kind of question in terms of, Brian Branch probably could have been on this list. And let's run through it. Brian Branch, stats for 2024. We're looking at 109 combined tackles. You're looking at 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 4 interceptions, 8 TFLs. And now if I go over to Xavier McKinney for 2024, you are looking at 88 combined tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 sack, no forced fumbles, and you are looking at 8 interceptions. So the only stat,
and he had to also make up for the fact that you lost probably your whole defensive line twice over, right?
Absolutely. So
Xavier McKinney had to make up for that, right? And he lost Alexander Zaloni of his team for long stretches of the season. They lost 22 players that are on the IR, right?
Yeah.
That's what the Packers went through?
No, not at all. No. And I'm just saying, he's only beating him in the interception category. And if you value interceptions over any other stat, I guess that's fine. That's cool. But the fact that, he is a complete safety, bro. 109 combined tackles. I saw Buda Baker's numbers. He's in second team, and he was averaging around 164. So the fact that he's triple digits in tackles means he's all over the field. He's got interceptions. He's got the forced fumble. He's got a sack. These are stats that are lining right up with McKinney's, and he's beating him in other categories. So I just don't understand that one. I understand if you don't want to have 2 Lions on first team, but Brian Branch absolutely is deserving of second team. Just if we just talk about the numbers.
Man, yeah. You know what? That dude, Justin, if you're still on the line, because I see people, man, they're talking about Brian Branch. They're upset right now. Some people are upset with Jahmyr Gibbs, believing that he should have gotten some type of attention from one of these teams. How are you feeling? Because Xavier McKinney is a guy who we saw, in my opinion, when we saw him face-to-face, head-to-head, I wasn't that impressed. Down the stretch, the names that I continued to hear make the differences were guys like Brian Branch, guys like Kirby Joseph, and it wasn't like Brian Branch just played the position he even started the season with. No, they had to turn him back into Super Branch again because he's playing all over the field. Why should that be something that they use against him? I just don't get it.
I don't understand either. I think Xavier McKinney is a one-trick pony. He's there to be a ball hawk in the back half of the secondary. He doesn't have the versatility that Brian McKinney can go down in the box and defend the run the way that Brian Branch can. Do you think he can blitz the way that Brian Branch can? Do you think he can literally play the position of cornerback like Brian Branch can? It's not even fathomable, the fact that Xavier McKinney is over Brian Branch. And also, you spoke on it. In the Packers-Lions game, who was the safety that was making the plays in the big moments, in the big games? It was Brian Branch. Xavier McKinney did nothing Brian Branch had big hits, big plays, big interceptions. Like, there's just, I don't know. I think that this is just kind of that old narrative of like, oh, Packers players, we got to put them on a pedestal. And I think that for the same reason that Kirby Joseph didn't get a Pro Bowl, I think this might be a little bit of the inverse for Brian Branch because of the big hit that he had in that Packers game and then flipping off the fans. I don't think the league necessarily wants to put him as a poster child because of the fact that he did that. So it might be a little bit of that as well. I obviously can't speak on that to 100% fact, but there's some tricky things in here because Brian Branch is a versatile safety that really can make an impact on a game, and he does every single game.
Yeah, Matt, bro, you said
other
that
than the
so well.
one game he played hurt.
Yeah.
It's just so well stated. And even then, we already understand, hey, he's playing hurt. Sometimes we're going to have to pick up Brian Branch, who does a lot of picking up by himself with this defense. Even when healthy, even when the defense is healthy, we already understand what Brian Branch is doing. And the way that Aaron Glenn calls a game, just like how they talk about how much more he can do when Alex Anzalone is there, just the same way he could do so much more with Brian Branch. When we heard if he was coming back, we were already like, well, can they all play together? And we realized, yeah, they can. Why? Because Brian Branch. That's why. Because he's not a one-trick pony. If he was Xavier McKinney, how do we fit all of the safeties back?
He's the best player on your defense not named Aiden Hutchinson. Flat out.
Flat out. So that's a little
100%.
disappointing because we're not just talking about the first team. That means that they also skipped over him for the second team as well.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's just like, man, and I get it. They have other goals in mind, but I'm so glad that they say, you know what, whether I get it or not, whatever, but since you didn't give it to me, Brian Branch middle fingers to the world. That's what I love. This team finds a way to take every single one of these slights and they go and they get it out the mud. Kirby Joseph was like, dang, man, y'all ain't gonna give me all pro. He was like that. Talk to him. He was like that. He was like, skip them. Like, It was crazy to just see him in the vibes at the LCA just amongst the people. Like, bro, this is what it's about. That to me was just like, yo, I'm so glad that they're pissed about this stuff because it's not like we talking about, oh, Xavier McKinney, they snuck him in on the second team. The safeties, like you said, Buda Baker, Kyle Hamilton on the second team. It's just like,
Kyle Hamilton, I mean, debatable, but I think he should be there. But overall, Xavier
McKinney there over those two.
Xavier McKinney is the odd man out here.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, man. Any slight there with Jahmyr Gibbs? Because you're talking about Saquon Barkley on the first team, which I can understand. Second team, Derrick Henry, King Henry, which I can understand the narrative, but down the stretch there, when you saw Jahmyr Gibbs turn into the feature back, he went up a whole nother level. And before that, I still thought he was doing his thing.
No, he had a great season, man. It's just when you put those two names up there, man, I think it's just a little tough to put him on there this particular year. Now, do I think he'll be eligible for that award going forward? Absolutely. But the fact that you work in a dual backfield and you're looking at two guys that are, numero uno on their respective teams. So I can't necessarily be mad at it. Jahmyr Gibbs, even as somebody that shares a backfield with David Montgomery, was still able to put up wild numbers, almost 2,000 from scrimmage, but I'm not necessarily mad at how this shook out just based on the years that those two guys had. I mean, we got to be real about it.
Yeah, definitely. And for me personally, when you talk about a young team, I'm one who I'm seeing this young squad. I'm even seeing the vets. They use this stuff as fuel. And when you're talking about trying to turn someone like Brian Branch even into more of a monster, a Kirby Joseph even into more of a monster, I love when these little slights happen. Like, how petty is it that you know every single wide receiver that was taken before you in the draft?
Yeah.
How petty is it that you're going to catch just one more pass than the guy that you know used to catch those most passes from the jugs machine? So it's just like, yeah, I like the fact that these guys are that way. I remember last year when Amon-Ra got snubbed in the All-Pro, and everyone was like, I don't care about that. Why y'all wasting time on this? And then they went to the locker room and asked him himself. He said, yeah, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And then he went out there and he housed the Rams. Remember, who was the pass to before victory formation? It was to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It was,
I just looked at that play the other day. It was so beautiful, man. And it's just like, you know what? That's why I said, keep doing these things right before the games, the biggest games of the season. Keep showing the Lions that you guys are disrespecting them, because this is how people wind up in the mess that they're winding up in. This is how people crying about their parlays and their bets and who won and who this and that. That's because y'all are listening to this type of stuff. I can tell you right now that Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Branch are better than whatever these teams are going to tell you. That's why y'all don't understand how elite the Lions are. That's why. Because people are sitting back, similar to Cade Cunningham, and you're late to the party because it's Detroit. You don't got to watch us. We watch us every single day.
Yeah.
And with some of the ball knowers we got on the squad, y'all head is in football 24/7.
And it's like Justin alluded to, we kind of got that bad boy, little stuff going for us. So that could be a big reason why too.
You're right, because
Yeah.
the bad boys shocked the world twice over.
Exactly.
People didn't expect them to be that. It was the fact that they went with their own brand. They started their own marketing campaign. The NBA wasn't trying to push the bad boys. The Pistons were.
Exactly.
They went and did it themselves.
They interrupted history. I always say that.
You know what? I think the Lions are doing the same. That is a bar, bro. That is a bar. I want to take a short break, come back and talk about this, as well as why the Detroit Lions are just better than everybody else right now.
It appears that way.